Hi, I'm CouchCoop. I review local co-op, split screen and single player video games, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and Game Pass. If you want to stay abreast, if you want to stay ahead of most split screen and local co-op games, then click that subscribe button. We are looking at Unleashed Hot Wheels 2. Want to get that name right? Hot Wheels Unleashed 2. This is actually not a bad sequel, and it isn't really stepping out of the box too much with the gameplay styles. An arcade racer, one of my favourite sort of veins of local co-op. This is the first one. As you can see, lovely vertical split, and it's running fantastically. We do have 60 frames per second. This is a pretty damn good looking racer, but it also comes with a wealth of unlockable cars. That's kind of the hook for me. You get the little packets, you get to open them and look at the stats. There's some really great variants on the vehicles. There's a couple of things I want to test with this review. First off, does it allow two profiles to play and have unlocks and XP spread against both people? The answer to that is no. What happens is you come in as a guest and you contribute to player one's stats and unlockables. It's pretty cool. You still get XP after each race, but again, this is very much focused to attack on, add on player, but it's still white knuckle and really good fun. They've made some changes to the UI and they've added a pretty cool nudge mechanic, which I'll get into in a second. It's also doing that tracks are unlocked in the one player thing to give you more access when you go into the two player split screen mode. That's pretty important, so you need to sort of open things up on the single player to have more variety when it comes to track type. That's kind of a normal thing with the Hot Wheels series. The other normal thing is goddamn micros everywhere. All of the shopping cart symbols are there in the corners of loads of the cars, so it does push that to you a little bit, but the single player and that map and opening it all isn't too bad. Slight change in the UI. One of the joys of this game is there are different boost mechanics for different vehicle types, and this is including motorcycles, and they handle a lot different, very sensitive. There's also a sort of hierarchy with weight when it comes to obstacles. If you're a big truck, you don't get taken out too badly by some of the on-track furniture, but the bike gets smacked around by the players and by anything that's on track. And there is quite a lot more on track. That was one of my complaints with the original game, is it was kind of a flat race. There wasn't too much going on. It wasn't competing directly with something like Mario Kart, but this one has upped the ante a bit. It also gives you a jump mechanic. Can you believe this? On the Y or triangle button, you actually have a secondary boost, which carries you through the air a little bit further. It adds a hell of a lot of excitement, and things get really crazy because you have that pitch and your control when airborne. So you're sort of rolling the car around trying to land flat, at the same time looking out for your buddy to whack him off the course. Also got a very accessible learning curve, so this one's quite handy on the young'uns. It's not a complicated drift system, a little bit like Burnout or anything else in this genre. It's really easy to unhook those wheels and get the back end swinging out. As mentioned previously, the cars do have a lot of personality. When you unlock something big, it does behave very differently to these quicker, smaller saloon cars. It's a very good idea having that roster, picking who you're going to take out to a race, and playing that one player and getting to unlock the cool new toy cars. There's also a nice little breakdown of some of the stats during the race. You can see who drifted the most, and also remember, pushing that XP to player one is really important because you can come back out, unlock new cars, and then that gives you both access to them. Let's get over to this nudge mechanic because it's actually quite a detailed piece of meta. I think it's there for a dodge. Well, it is. That's what it says in the tutorial, but you can use it to completely push your teammate out of the way. It's quite aggressive, and you can go left or right depending on what button you push on the pad. It's not just a singular command, so it does make things a little bit more interesting. You can't do it in the air annoyingly, and there's no on-car machine guns or rocket launchers. What it lacks in projectile weaponry, it more than makes up for in really cool, funny physics and a hell of a lot of track furniture. And also, it's not as easy and simple as the first game with some of that track layout. You do have to take a few risks. Some of the jumps really require that second boost mechanic to carry you through over the gap. So tension's high. If you do miss a boost spot, you might not make the jump, and you do have to manually respawn yourself, which is on the R buttons. That can result in quite a lot of tension. How does the game perform? Absolutely beautifully. There are quite a few cars on track. I saw no slowdown, no frame issues when there's everything on screen at the same time. And normally with a split screen arcade racer like this, they can get in a bit of a twist when things get very busy, but performance is top notch. Single player actually comes with a replay mode. I was really stunned at that, and that's an addition to the sequel. It's not Gran Turismo 7, and I was a little bit gutted that we don't have a two-player replay after the match. Some of the shenanigans you get up to would be well cool to watch on a singular replay screen. The AI actually deserves a mention also. Keep an eye out, it defaults to easy. You want it on medium at least. They're nice and aggressive. They use that nudge to get you out of the way, and they can completely ruin your day, meaning that if you're really far behind, your mate is likely to get in a tangle with an AI character and you can catch them up again. The addition of the bikes is pretty cool. They freak me out a little bit not having riders on them. I like the idea of it all being like toy cars and bikes, and a rider would kind of take you out of the immersion on that level, but it does all look a bit pristine with these crazy unmanned two-wheel vehicles hurtling around the track, and they do hurtle. The bikes are a completely different affair than the four-wheeled cars. The NOS and reward system is pretty standard stuff. You gotta go over the blue markers to actually increase it, and you get it for slipstream and being aggressive, airtime, that sort of thing. When it comes to some of the on-track hazards, it is a bit of a chance game, but having that dodge move increases the probability of you getting through unscathed. And also those little jumps, those little hazard signs, you can jump clean over them if you've got that boost or jump mechanic saved up, and that comes in the form of those green domes. You can see it down there on the bottom left. It's a very cool idea, and it also adds a bit of risk, meaning that you can muck up the jumps or try to avoid an on-track hazard. I do actually really like this game, but I'm a little bit biased because it's a local co-op arcade racer. The pull for me is definitely unlocking the cool cars in the single player and then having that roster for you to both enjoy. That also goes for the track type as well. It is also extremely octane high. You don't have any damage. You don't have to worry about your wheel falling off. It's not like the previous Formula 1 2023 game where a slight knock from an opponent could end your race. This one is just straight down the middle. Be aggressive, have a good time, smash everyone around, and that's, I think, where a lot of enjoyment is with races like this.
Whoa, did you see that, champ? This is big news. You earned enough XP to go from a Class C racer to a Class B racer.
Is it better than Lego 2K Lego Racer? That one is quite easy to answer. The Lego game has got an amazing open world map that you can both enjoy and sort of choose which missions you go for. It's a pretty large game compared to Hot Wheels, so I would recommend that also if you haven't gone to it. Super Pixel Racers deserves a mention also. I really miss that Micro Machines game model, the top-down thing, and that one delivers on that front. I will put the link to my Top Arcade Racers video in the description. Stuff like Hot Shot Racers is in there, and coupled with Crash Bandicoot and the delectable Sonic Racers. This game and the Lego game are only 2-player, no 4-player local, but those aforementioned are. I will see you down there, regulars. I'm playing the Saboteur. That one's due out next, and man, what an eye-opener.